So now we move on to the Journal of Big Data Analytics and Transportation. This journal will publish content from different disciplines as it impacts transportation, especially with regards to smart transportation. Anuj, could you begin by telling us why you decided it was a good idea to propose this journal? And then I would like to hear Adel's thought on why he thinks it is important to have a journal like this right now.
So one of the things is that big data and ability to work with big data has significantly improved over the last 5 years with a lot of innovation being done in high performance computing, with deep learning gaining a significant amount of research behind it, and again self-driving cars being trained and a lot more research being done over there. So right now we didn't have any journal which you can go to and you can collect all this information from, like there was not a single house. And when you want to publish things as well, you can go to journal which are publishing on some similar topics, but not a single repository of all this information together. So I think that was the biggest thing, is that we don't want this, we want this repository to be looked on as a person who want to do any research in big data, they can just go to it, or do any research in high performance computing or autonomy or blockchain, to go to this journal and find all the relevant articles in there, instead of looking at multiple different repositories where they might not find a theme of these technologies.
Yeah, I think Anuj said it very well, and basically, I mean, big data is here, and that's really why the journal is very timely. I mean, before it was very expensive to collect data, and so data, we never had these big data sets. Now we have cheap sensors, multiple sensors, the idea of smartphones and connectivity, the idea of social media, the idea of automation and so on, and simulation and data generated from simulation models, and data archiving and data fusing and so on. So all these led to the fact that big data is here. And transportation is one of the areas where there's a lot of opportunity to take advantage of big data, because you have what we call a complex system. You have thousands and millions of people traveling. You could generate data on each person. You need to understand the behavior of the system. You need to be able to predict it. You need to be able to try to control it or guide it toward a certain desirable outcome. So all of this really would make big data and big data analytics and transportation a very timely topic, and we're very excited about the potential here.
Yeah, it is good to be now starting up a journal that focuses on the needs of transportation as an application area for big data. We have many journals that publish in the core area of big data, whether they talk about marketing related applications or they talk about actual computer science or deep learning applications for a variety of fields. But this journal would bring together a lot of content which is relevant to the transportation and smart transportation community. And that's why it's a really welcome publication to, and it's, as you said, it's very timely.
And also connecting people. Connecting people is another thing. If you have a journal and you have a bunch of people, associate editor, editorial board, people who are publishing in there, people who are reviewing it, that makes you a community which interacts with each other, and that also shows people that this is important community and trains the students to improve that whole thematic area. Another thing is building a community around it. So I think right now there are a lot of people who we know are working in this area, but there are a lot of people who we don't know whose work is so dispersed that you don't find it that, oh, this person is probably working in this area. So this also gives an opportunity to connect these people, arrange competitions where you provide these benchmark data sets where you know that people would be working on these benchmark data sets and finding out that this is the best algorithm whatsoever in these kind of data sets. So right now in transportation, as far as I know, there doesn't, I guess, exists some of these benchmark data sets that people compete against. It exists in image-based classification. It exists in machine learning of numbers. So there are a lot of benchmark data sets which exist in other domains. We would like to create those data sets here so that a person can come in and see whether an improvement has been really made or not. Otherwise, people published on their own data sets, and then it's tough to compare whether there is this algorithm is significantly better than the previous one or not.
Okay, that's excellent. Yeah, building a community is a very good point. You know, getting people together, and considering that this area is highly multidisciplinary, so getting people together and sort of creating a platform for de-silification of research. So as we talked about, all different kinds of engineers, computer scientists, policy and management groups working in this area. So we need to break the traditional discipline silos and bring the smart transportation community together. And I think this journal is a great step, a big step in that direction.